Hey guys, it's Bryn. I'm so sorry for looking like a total mess today. I just couldn't do it. But for today's video, I thought it would be fun to kind of take you through my book collection. I talk about books quite a lot on my channel, or at least as much as I can get away with. So I thought it would be fun to kind of just take you through all the books that I own. I have two giant IKEA bookshelves that are filled with both books that I've read, that I've had forever, and books that I've bought and haven't gotten around to reading yet. So it's kind of like I have my own little personal library here whenever I need it. So I don't know, I thought it would just be fun to kind of take you through the books that I own, and then we can kind of have a discussion in the comments if you want about our favorite books and the books we hate and the books that we keep around even though we don't know why we keep them around. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you enjoy a peek into all the books that I own. These are only some of them. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So here we have the bottom shelf of my left bookshelf. And here I have mostly just my Harry Potter books, one of which has no cover for some reason. Not totally sure why. Alright, Mandy, quit it. And these are actually the exact books that my dad used to read to me. So I've had these for like ages. And then obviously I have The Cursed Child and The Casual Vacancy, which I have not read. I've read this one, not this one. And then over here I just have like writing books that I've accumulated. I actually really want to read this one soon, so I will let you know how I feel about it. So this shelf houses all the Nicholas Sparks books that I have accumulated, which I feel like were the only things that I read in high school. I think there are a couple newer ones that I don't have, but for the most part, I'm pretty sure I have most of them. But of these, the only ones I have not read are True Believer and At First Sight, and I've read the first half of 3 Weeks with My Brother, and I have not read The Longest Ride. I've seen the movie, but I have not read the book, which is terrible. I know, I'm a horrible person. What can I say? So this shelf is basically all of my like regular, commercial, adult, contemporary fiction. I don't know how else to describe it. I know that's a lot of words, but I don't know how else to categorize this shelf. I feel like the shelf could also be called just like books that have turned into highly successful movies. I mean, we have like My Sister's Keeper, Silver Linings Playbook, Lovely Bones, Fight Club, Time Traveler's Wife, One Day, Descendants, I don't even know anymore. Gone Girls one, The Martians one, Water for Elephants, Something Borrowed. But there are actually quite a few on here that I have not read. But the ones I do most want to read are probably It by Stephen King, The Martian's definitely one, and Wonder Boys is definitely another one that I really want to read. But yeah, overall there are some books on here that I read like a long time ago, some books on here that I just really want to read, but just adult fiction mostly. Now moving up here, this is essentially my classic fiction shelf. We have quite a few F. Scott Fitzgerald, we have Catcher in the Rye, I have 2 copies of Great Expectations, I also have 2 copies of Wuthering Heights for some reason. There's quite a bit of Hemingway that I have not gotten around to reading. My favorites on this shelf would definitely have to be The Great Gatsby, Catcher in the Rye is definitely a favorite, and 1984 is a favorite, which should maybe be moved to the nonfiction shelf. I'm not totally sure. I also really love this one. It's called Winesburg, Ohio, and it's a little less well known, but I would totally recommend it, and I actually really want to reread this one soon as well. And then moving up to the top shelf, I actually had to get something to stand on for this. And this shelf is kind of confusing, but I feel like I kind of classify it as some more like literary fiction that's not quite classics, but there's also some like plays and poetry and short story kind of thrown in here. Over here I have quite a bit of Walt Whitman, which I love, then some sort of like novellas. I have some plays, so I have Macbeth and The Tempest and A Streetcar Named Desire. Is this even in focus? Nope, okay. Then over here there's some like lesser known classics. So you have like Jude the Obscure, you have To the Lighthouse, House on Mango Street, Lesson Before Dying, The Atonement, which is a very good one. I also have some short story collections. This one, What We Talk About When We Talk About Love by Raymond Carver, I actually just finished, would definitely recommend. And The Opposite of Loneliness by Marina Keegan is a great one. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I would totally recommend it. It's like essays and short stories and the whole ordeal. And that is it for the left shelf. So let's move over to the right. So now onto the right bookshelf, which houses mostly young adult fiction. And on this shelf, we have kind of what I would classify as like young adult fantasy series. So we have like the Clockwork series, we have the City of Bones series, Darkest Minds, The Fifth Wave, Illuminae, and then this random like first book of the series of Unfortunate Events that I haven't read, but I don't know where to put, so it's just chilling right there. Then moving up a shelf, we have even more young adult series. You know, you have your Divergence and the Maze Runner and the Hunger Games of the world. I have some I Am Number 4 books, which I feel like I should donate. I don't really know why I still have these. And then obviously Twilight, which I will probably never read again, but I can't bear to get rid of, even though this looks so bad. It's even like taped, like it's been around to so many people. So many people have borrowed this book that it's just like completely falling apart. So now moving on to the middle shelf of the right bookshelf, and here we have kind of standalone young adult fiction books, except these two, which I think are part of a series, but I've never read them and they didn't fit anywhere else, so they just ended up here. I had a ton more young adult fiction books, but I literally just donated so many of them, so that's why it looks a little low. I read so many young adult fiction books, but you know, I just get rid of them for the most part. So most of these I actually have not read, except for these 4 Sarah Dessen books, and I've read this one, which I actually got from a friend a long time ago. I've read Two-Way Street and Twisted, and I think that's it, except for these random ones that are hidden back here, which if y'all remember, the Ugly series and Percy Jackson, of course. So yeah, I actually kind of want to get rid of these. I'm not hiding them because I'm embarrassed of them. I just wanted this frame to be here. But yeah, they're just there. I think I'm going to get rid of them, but not sure yet. Right now they're holding up this frame, so they're here for a purpose. So then up here on the second top shelf, we have some more just standard young adult fiction books. But unlike the other shelf, I have read most of these. I would say The Spectacular Now and The Perks of Being a Wallflower are definite standouts on this shelf. And I really want to read this one. It's called The 1000th Floor, and it looks really good. I'm really excited to read that. And then I have my beloved John Green books, which I keep over here in their own separate section because I love them. And the only one I have not read is this one, Will Grayson, Will Grayson, and I don't know why. I need to read that as soon as possible. But yeah, I love this section. Paper Towns is one of my favorite books, if you did not know. And then finally, this top shelf is mostly like nonfiction biographical type books. I obviously have both of Grace's books. I Am That Girl, which I really want to read. This empty space belongs to Anna Kendrick's Scrappy Little Nobody, but I am currently reading that, which is why it is not here. And then A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius. I really want to read that soon too. I think I started it a couple times, but I just got distracted and moved on to something else, so I really want to read this. I've heard really great things. And yeah, there's a little bookmark in there, so I'm gonna have to start over by this point because I think that was from a few years ago, but yes, definitely want to read that. And then very randomly I have these 3 because I wasn't sure what else to do with them, and I didn't have anything else to hold these books up. But Where the Sidewalk Ends I've had since I was very little, that I can't bear to get rid of. And then A Monster Calls I think is also like considered a children's book, so I thought, okay, whatever, I'll put them together. And then Milk and Honey I actually just recently bought. And I think it might be poetry, but I'm not totally sure because I haven't read it yet, so I just stuck it here because I knew I was going to read it soon, and I didn't really know where else to put it. Alright, and that is everything. I hope you are not too overwhelmed. I was really out of breath through that entire video. I'm not sure why, if it's just like holding up my giant camera, if it's just like too much for me, like I don't know. Man, like my voice sounds weird and I apologize. But yeah, I will link to my Goodreads account in the description if you want to just like keep up with what I'm reading. If you're curious about how I rated or reviewed one of these books, it might be on there. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little different and I'm not totally on my game today. It's been raining forever and that always just puts me in kind of like a blah mood and apparently it just like sucks my energy right out of me. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next week with another one. Bye!